walk in the park. And if his Lakers get past Portland, he doesn't see things getting any easier. LeBron said playing in the bubble will make this, quote, the toughest championship run for me personally. Bubble life seems hard. Shannon, do you agree?
I do, because what the bubble has done, Skip, it removed all the hard work you had done to get the number one seed. You wanted to get the number one seed because if it ever went to a game 7, it would be in your building. You start in your building, you end in your building. That's what you want. That's what everybody plays for. Like, man, we got to win our division. We got to get the number one seed because we want you to come to us. And if for some unforeseen reason it goes 7 games, we know we have our home crowd and we're in the confines of our friendly environment of home. And Skip, also, it's removed the comfort of a normal routine. Speaking from experience with Skip, when we got coming down to the playoffs, did the same thing. I mean, I pretty much ate the same things and maneuvered the same way, but it was to the umpteenth level. A lot of times, Skip, if we won a game, guess what I did? I wore the same suit again if we was going on the road. If we won that game, guess what, Skip? I wore that same suit again. And all the routines that you would normally have has gone away. Now you got to establish new routine to have to go through Portland. And as you mentioned, yeah, I get it. They're a number one seed. But they have a potential MVP. They have an All-NBA player, 2 All-Stars. Then you get if the path goes that we think is going to go, you get Houston, 2 MVPs, 2 All-NBA players, multiple All-Stars, and then you get the Clippers with a two-time Finals MVP, a Defensive Player of the Year, an All-NBA player in Paul George and Kawhi. So yes, I believe this would be his most difficult road. But I'm sure everybody's saying, hell, it's going to be my most difficult one also because we're also playing in the bubble. But I think the expectations and what is expected of LeBron and what is expected of Anthony Davis, and we're going to talk about AD a little later. Yes, Skip, I do believe this would be LeBron's greatest challenge if he were to complete this with the title. No question.
Really?
Yes.
So here we go again. It sounded to me like the king was planting king-sized excuses with the media. That's what it sounded like to me.
That didn't sound like this, Skip.
This is going to be my toughest path to a championship ever. And I'm thinking, LeBron, what are you talking about? Unless you're just planting the seeds of excuse just in case it goes off the track.
No.
And I'm thinking, wait a second. Okay, so you were on an MVP tear at the end of what became the first part of the regular season. And remember the game at New Orleans, then the game against Milwaukee, then the game against the Clippers. And I conceded. I said, you know what? That looks like the MVP to me. I think he is edged ahead because it's a great story. It's a comeback story. It's a year 17 story off the abysmal first year in L.A. He bounced back, the washed king, and he unwashed. And he washed everybody else and put them in spin cycle, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that happened, and then all of a sudden, the pandemic hit. And all of a sudden, LeBron James, at the end of year 17, having played the 3rd most minutes in the history of this league, got 5 months off to get ready for the playoffs. It's unheard of. It's thank you, basketball gods. I couldn't have created a more advantageous scenario for LeBron James at this stage and age than that one.
But Skip, you're basing it on everything is the same. Skip, when my grandmother, as she started to get old, once she stopped moving is when her health really started to deteriorate. Once she could continue to move, LeBron James was in a rhythm. He didn't need rest. He was in a rhythm. He didn't want the rest. The rest helped Giannis because Giannis had the knee injury. It helped Kawhi. And we're going to find out how good them knees are because they're going to be playing every other day moving forward.
We will see.
Yeah, we're going to see.
Okay, but LeBron James had made his MVP case, and I know how he would have been. I got to cinch it. I got to clinch it. Right. I got to close the deal. I want to play every game. I want to play every fourth quarter. I don't care if we're up 25. I want to pad my stats in every fourth quarter. He would have been a premier candidate to get hurt down the stretch.
No, he wasn't.
Yes.
No.
And to wear himself out and to have tired legs going into the playoffs, it would have been difficult for him. It was beautiful to get 5 months in which he rode his bicycle through West Los Angeles, out on the streets. I'm just tooling around on my bike. I'm just pedaling nice and easy and slow. Keep my legs going.
Basketball?
It's not grandmother. She didn't stop moving.
LeBron James is a basketball player. What do basketball players want to do? Play basketball. Football player. What does Tom Brady want to do?
Well, right now he doesn't get to do anything. We're going to talk about that because that could be a big problem for Tom Brady. But it's not like LeBron didn't shoot basketball. It's not like he didn't mess around with his kids and keep moving and play a little bit. I'm sure they played some pickup 5-on-5 somewhere. Well, they did.
So LeBron James played an NBA game with the equivalent of him playing against
I'm just saying,
Bronny and Bryce.
And then, not against those guys, but again, I'm sure they had some Sunday afternoon type pickup games. I don't know. At UCLA.
No, what we do, Skip, we adhere to the guidelines. There says no congregation. That's what we do.
That's not what Tom Brady did.
He's a rule breaker.
Yeah.
We don't break rules here.
Really?
That's what got us in trouble. There are a lot more like Tom Brady as opposed to not, but go ahead.
Okay. Travel you brought up. Think about this. LeBron doesn't have any wear and tear of travel in the bubble. It's like a gift from the basketball gods because it's harder and harder as you get older to pick up and pack and travel and fly all over the country and to go back and forth during a series where you get pushed to, you got to play every other night, but you got to fly on the off day. Skip. It's hard on your body.
Skip, it's not like it used to be where those guys flew commercial. All these teams, they travel private.
I got that, but it's still no fun. You know how it is. You know what it feels like.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, he gets to camp. He's got a suite atop whatever that hotel is.
Remember how we came back from Miami as opposed to how we got to Miami?
Yep.
You was up there chilling. You all your feet all propped up. You laid back. Yeah.
I was laid back, conked out, man. I slept all the way back.
Yeah. That was the first time I was like, man, Skip ain't said a word the whole
Wait,
while.
We're back?
Yeah.
We're back already?
You were sleeping and as it was eating the whole trip back, but go ahead.
I got it, and I've flown on some Cowboy team planes before where they don't obey any speed limit. I get that. They just go. You don't even have to put your seatbelt on. We're going. Yeah. You can walk around in the aisles when you take off. They don't care. You can just go.
Exactly.
You know how that feels.
I do.
Okay, but you still have to pack. You still have to fly. You still have to go get on the next bus and get on the next bus, and now you can basically walk to the quote-unquote arena because they're not really arenas. They're just little gyms that you're playing in.
Right.
Okay? And furthermore, LeBron James and we're going to talk about him in just a minute here on the show, but he is about to get to play, to have the opportunity to play with the most impactful player, the best co-star he has ever played with, including Dwayne Wade, Kyrie Irving, as far as rank. AD, he's the PER prince, but he finished 4th in PER this year. LeBron was 10th in player efficiency rating. Right. And a lot of people think Anthony Davis is going to be the defensive player of the year. You can make a case just off the regular season that Anthony Davis was right in the middle of the MVP discussion.
Yes.
That's your new co-star going into the playoffs. And you're saying it's your toughest road? How could you make that case?
I think the thing is, Skip, is that what you get used to when you've done something for such a long time, now all of a sudden, you're not doing that anymore. He's not around his family. He's not around friends. Now, me, come playoff time, there was no family, there was no friends coming to playoff games. No, we good. Hopefully we make it to the Super Bowl. I see you at the Super Bowl. Regular season games, Skip, I had no problem with that.
Okay.
But no family and friends were coming to see me play in the playoffs.
Which is another reason why this is advantage LeBron.
But he likes that.
Okay.
See, he wants Savannah, and he wants the kids, and he wants his family and friends and Glow. He wants them around. I didn't want that.
Okay.
That's him.
Are the Lakers the only team in the bubble right now?
No, Skip, I just said everybody feels it's going to be the most difficult because of the circumstances. But there's some funny things going on in the bubble. Would I be surprised if somebody scores 65 or 70 points? I think Dame Lillard or James Harden could get to that number. Skip, what we're seeing in the bubble, we've never seen this before. You have 4 guys go under the age of 25, get 30 or more. Yep. Donovan Mitchell, we're going to talk about him, 57. Yep. Skip, this is, I've never seen anything like this. And you've watched basketball a lot longer than I have. But to see an opening round like what we saw in Luka, go get 42 in his debut. Think about all the great players, from Jordan to Kareem to Bird, Magic, and none of them had that. LeBron.
Yep. The basketball universe has been turned upside down in the bubble. I get it. So weird things like Twilight Zone phenomenon are happening within the bubble.
So we might go 16-0?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
We might go 16-0?
What happened leading up to the bubble? We had a parade of quotes on the show. We had reams of quotes we kept responding to where star after star said, this is big advantage LeBron because he is the most dedicated and disciplined player in the league.
Right.
Well, don't tell me it's your hardest path when it should be advantage you.
Well, so here's the thing, though, Skip. The thing is now is that everybody gets to focus because everybody, what he could do is that when the distractions were around, he could focus in. Well, the bubble has removed distractions for everybody. So everybody doesn't have any choice but to focus in, to lock in. That's what he was able to do. What made Kobe so great? Kobe was in L.A. with everything going in L.A. Kobe could nah, I'm here. I'm here. LeBron, he was like, I'm here no matter what's going on. Now you remove that. Everybody is under the same umbrella. So nobody has distraction. So everybody can focus. Whereas before, you might come to your homeboy, hey, man, hey, you coming to town? Come pick your boy up. Let's go grab something to eat.
Okay. Do you not tell me that LeBron James is the best leader in basketball?
Yes.
Okay. So why wouldn't that be huge advantage, LeBron? Because this is an AAU type situation.
Yeah.
The environment is college-like, AAU-like, where you're all together and you can take over a team more easily because they're not distracted. They're all together all day and all night, where you can lead them, you can mold them,
right.
You can make them into more of a unified whole instead of everybody's going a different direction after the game.
I believe that's to be true, but I believe everybody is saying the same thing, that everybody's going to step to the forefront and your leaders will become even more leaders. But also, Skip, what's at play here? Everybody believes, man, this is a great opportunity for us. Ain't no home court. Ain't no fans. So we can go out here and just, so everybody's thinking they, more so than any other time, that they believe they have a realistic chance of winning a title this year. Because it's been wide open. Fox Bet, and you hear all these sports books like, there is, for the first time since pre-Golden State, that we don't have a clear-cut winner, a clear-cut favorite.
Yet most still have those guys as a slight favorite.
It's them Clippers. I mean, it's basically like there's only 3 teams in the hat, and whoever you pull out, okay, that's the favorite for the
Okay.
day.
So I realize everybody's away from their family, but it's not like LeBron stays with his family every waking minute. He's out and about. I'll look up and he's at the fight in Vegas or he's at another big game.
No, not during the season. During the season, he working out at home. He got a little state-of-the-art gym.
Really?
Yeah, he got state-of-the-art, all the equipment.
Really?
You name it, he got it.
Huh.
Call his guy. Sometimes he call his guy like 4 o'clock in the morning.
Really?
Hit the 405.
Call you?
No. I'm not a morning person. I don't do the morning workouts. Ask Coach Davis about some battle stats. Hey, Coach, we're gonna have a problem. These 5 o'clock workouts gonna be a problem for us. But anyway, Skip, he said what he said. You try to he making excuses. Not making excuses. It will be the most difficult, but I also believe it will be the most gratifying. Yeah.
So if it falls apart, he can say, I got bubbled. I got bubbled.
No.
Yep.
If it falls apart, he didn't get it done. We don't do the excuses, Skip.
Really?
We don't do that.
Huh. LeBron James plays the media like a baby grand piano. That's what he does. He just up and down the key. And the media just accepts it. And as Kevin Durant once said, those media fanboys, they got LeBron's back. So they are running with this story because now everybody knows, boy, it's tough for LeBron in the bubble.
But he said that from the jump, that it's going to be difficult to go down there and do something because we've never seen this before. We've had strike-shortened seasons. We've never had anything like this.
Nope, but neither has anybody else.
That's my point.
Okay, advantage LeBron.
But who has more expectations? Has anybody ever had more expectations heaped on them?
Well, you're the one who calls him the GOAT. I don't.
You should.
Skip, if he was a member of that media group, would not let him get away with these kind of quotes. Come on, Skip would call him out. I appreciate it. Exactly. Okay, guys, I do want to talk about the Cowboys. Unfortunately, not the best news to share because after their first padded practice yesterday, the Cowboys have already been hit with injury. All-pro defensive lineman Gerald McCoy ruptured his right quad tendon and is now expected to miss the entire season. McCoy signed a 3-year deal with Dallas this offseason, and Stephen Jones said It was disappointing since McCoy was a major addition to the defensive line. You just feel for him. Shannon, how big of a loss is this for the Cowboys?
Skip, it was big because they signed him early. He was one of the defenders that they identified early on in free agencies and said, we want him. And they paid good money to get him. He's still a quality player. Now, I don't believe he's the Gerald McCoy that was early in his years at Tampa, but he probably could give you 5-6 sacks, could stop the run. He was good. And it provided them depth.
Yep.
And so this is why you sign a Nevison Griffin, because you never know. You sign an Aldon Smith. Now, the thing is, Skip, is that this happened early, so you get an opportunity to see some of these young guys. You know, they signed Dontari Poe, Antoine Wood. They drafted Neville Gallimore. So they have some guys, Tristan Hill from Central Florida. So
He's still there?
He's
sure?
Well, he was in the doghouse last year, so we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. But the thing is, Skip, in watching that, now I've seen guys tear quads, but it never like that. Normally, it's an explosive movement, guys running, and the quad up the bone. But the guy just basically
he took one step back
right.
to plant.
Yeah, to brace himself.
To take the blow.
Yeah.
And it just goes.
It goes.
But
At first, I thought it was his knee, Skip.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
It looked like a knee. Yeah. It looked like his knee buckled.
Right.
Nope. So let me address that first. When these things happen, there are two injuries that are completely inexplicably mysterious to me. It's almost like God said it's gonna go.
Right.
And that is the Achilles tendon and the quad. Because there's no apparent reason for it.
Right.
Maybe your Achilles has frayed and you don't know it.
Right.
Maybe you have micro tears
Right.
and it's just a little getting to be hanging by a thread and you don't know it.
Right.
But usually you don't even have Achilles tendonitis.
Nope.
And it just ruptures for no apparent reason, and it's always non-contact.
Right.
With the Achilles, you just plant over here, and then you say, oh, somebody just shot me in the calf. I don't know what happened.
Man, you kicked me.
Well, what happened? Oh, I'm ruptured?
Right.
You're ruptured.
Right.
You got big surgery, and you're going to be out, see Kevin Durant, for a year.
Yes.
Same thing with the quad. Tony Parker, he's just playing a basketball game against Memphis, and he's not even going hard. He just it's off the ball, doesn't even have the ball. Steps, goes, what just happened? Your quadriceps just tore in two. Mm-hmm. What? Mm-hmm. Well, you're out. You're going to be out. And he tried to rush it back. Remember, it's the end of Kawhi and San Antonio, and they thought they had a chance to win it all. And
it's all Tony Parker's fault.
And then
because
somebody quit, and somebody said, I'm out.
Well, it was Tony Parker's because he said his injury was what, 100 or 1,000 times worse than Kawhi's.
He went 100. Yeah, because Kawhi had a thigh bruise. Tony Parker had a ruptured quadriceps. Yes. So the point is, when I heard this and then I watched that, it just feels like not meant to be. To me, he was the key piece that they added in the offseason. Yeah. As you said, first piece, but they've never had a dynamic leader on the defensive side. Right. Sean Lee has been the leader, but he's a quiet leader, leads by example, by play, and now he's getting a little longer in the tooth, and he's had too many injuries, and he's starting to lose a little bit. He's still there, but it's hard for that guy to be the dynamic leader of the unit that they have never had. Gerald McCoy is a stud to me. He's high class, high caliber. Right. When he speaks, I listen. Right. We had him on the show, as you recall. And I think they're going to lean on him as the new rock, the stalwart of the defensive line. Well, all of a sudden we're back to hello 3-4 because we went from those two tackles with Dontari Poe and Gerald McCoy to one that you can really depend upon. I told you I love Willie Gallimore. I watched him at Oklahoma, at University of Oklahoma. Every snap he took. He came on last year and he became a disruptor. But can you throw a kid into the fray and that he's going to just immediately disrupt? I have no idea. But I thought they stole him in the draft.
And Skip, they might have going to play a lot more for. I mean, I heard one of the DBs say, they practice some 3-4, but they probably going to be a lot of 43. With stand-up with Aldon Smith and DeMarcus Lawrence. Because, Skip, you got to have those. If everything is going to what they say, and they say Aldon Smith is looking unbelievable, you have to have him on the field.
You do.
And you paying the guy $21 million, you're going to have his butt on the field also.
Yep.
And your linchpin, the guy that you paid a lot of money to come over in free agency, just went down.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, we're going to find out the depth. And Skip, you got Everson Griffin. So now all of a sudden that looks, man, that's really a bargain.
You're loaded on the edges.
Yes.
And that Bradley and Knight out of Utah that they drafted, every time I watch the tape of him, he flies off the edge, and he will make a play for you here or there.
Right.
I don't know about against the run or whatever, but in the passing situation, I think he can come in and fly around.
Well, at the end of the day, Skip, you put it was down, you know, it's obvious passing down. You put your best pass rushers and maybe some defensive end. You got to kick them down to defensive tackle and have a giant situation, Skip.
Yeah.
You remember they had all their pass rushers. A lot of them were defensive ends.
They were.
But when it came down to, hey, we need to go get Tom Brady, we're going to put your butt out there and let's go get him, Tuck. Let's go get him, OC, straight.
I got it. They still have Tyrone Crawford.
Yeah.
They still have Dorrance Armstrong. They still have Antoine Woods. They have depth.
Yes.
They just lost the key piece.
Right.
They lost a leader.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing that I'm trying to look at the silver lining, the one thing that was missing from Gerald McCoy's resume was he'd never played in a playoff game.
Right.
Not one.
Right.
Obviously, he's on medium to bad Tampa
Yeah.
teams, but he made 6 Pro Bowls. Then he went to Carolina. Nothing really happened last year. And here he is. And I love him. I know him because he went to Southeast High School in Oklahoma City, University of Oklahoma alum. And the point is that they needed him emotionally and psychologically. And it felt like, you know, sometimes things just aren't meant to be. And it just felt bad because you're going to have no preseason games. And all of a sudden we're going to talk about Tom Brady trying to get ready in Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this team feels it has a lot of new on defense.
Right.
Well, you're going to get it all together with no preseason?
Because it's hard. It's hard to install to see. Skip, I mean, you want to hear those calls in an actual game when you're going against people that's not yours. I mean, you get in practice and they calling out the signal in the helmet. That's fine and good. But you're used to preseason. You're used to going against somebody. That way you can find out, man, that kid look good. And I've seen guys look great in practice, Skip.
Yeah.
And you put them jokers in a preseason game, and he's like a blind dog in a meat house. He don't know which, he turning over here. Bruh, where is that what you were doing in practice? Go do that. You're not going to get that opportunity.
Yep.
So you hope your scouting department did you a solid, and you're going to have to base it on, like, you know, you're going to make some mistakes, and you always do, Skip.
Yep.
But it's going to be tough. It's different this year because you're not going to get that true evaluation seeing a guy going against somebody that he doesn't know. Another guy that's trying to make the team. Because, see, Tyron Smith, he already on the team. Zach Martin's on the team. So you're going against guys that know they got it. Go against the guy that's trying to make the team. That's what you want to see.
Then, of course, there are certain players who stunk it up in practice, and you put them in a game, and they lit it up.
No, stop it.
Do you remember that guy who used to wear orange?
No.
He was an orange crusher in Denver. He crushed people. Do you remember that guy named Tim Tebow?
Did it?
Whatever happened to Tim Tebow?
I don't know what happened to him.
I don't know. What happened to the guy who actually won the division that year?
Hold on. Is he playing
a playoff game?
Is he playing baseball?
I don't know.
You do know.
He should be playing football. Now.
Soccer?
Football.
What? He messing up.
Maybe the worst practice player ever, but
ain't no baby.
You put him in a close late game.
I've never heard of a coach say, "Hey, don't break the ball up." Hold on, what you mean don't break the ball up?
Yeah, how did Debo get in this conversation? You guys just took me on a lot of...
He opened the door. I ran through it.
All right, we feel for Gerald McCoy, wishing him a good and speedy recovery. That's a tough one. But
thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.